Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing The Martian. This is a movie that I've been looking forward to a lot. This is a movie that from the trailers it looked really good and really interesting. I like Matt Damon. I like movies that are about space missions or people going into space and shit going wrong. That always frightens me no matter what. I mean, Gravity was a pretty damn frightening movie for me. Um, I remember, just sitting there like gripping the handles of my seat for God's sakes watching that movie. This movie looked like a fascinating little film that like I like Matt Damon enough that I would like to see a movie where he's basically on his own for a whole movie and like he's acting no opposite nobody else. I kind of like that kind of idea. Um, and also, this movie is being directed by Ridley Scott. He's the guy that made the classic first Alien movie, and this is him going back to making another space epic. And he's awesome at making these movies. He's always has been. I've even liked Prometheus. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with it. I agree there are problems with it, but I do still love Prometheus, and I've always been a fan of Ridley Scott. He's a guy who's had some highs and lows over the last couple years. I know a lot of people don't like the Robin Hood remake that he did, but I did. I thought it was alright. It was different from any other Robin Hood movie I've ever seen. I liked Russell Crowe in it. I will still defend that movie. And yeah, Exodus Gods and Kings was shit. I'll give you that. Exodus Gods and Kings was pretty bad. It was not bad particularly. It was just freaking boring. But this looked really promising, and the reviews have been great, like for this. And I was like, great, this is the first movie that Ridley Scott has done in a while where it's gotten well received. And you know what? God damn it, Ridley Scott's back at making good movies again. This is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. It has a lot of really good stuff about it. Matt Damon should get an Oscar nomination come Oscar time. I'm pretty certain he will. There'll be a lot of Oscar nominations for this movie, I guarantee it. But he should probably, because this is Matt Damon's movie. While you have a plethora of big name actors in this, the main focus of this movie is Matt Damon. He spends the most screen time, has the most screen time. You spend the most time with him. You get to see his adventures of trying to survive on Mars with barely any food, and like it is interesting watching him like grow his own food, all that stuff like that, and see all the trials and tribulations he goes through. But for God's sakes, he does go for a lot of them. And he's really, Matt Damon is a guy, like, you find yourself rooting for this guy because he's Matt fucking Damon, and he's very charismatic and very likable, and you want to see this guy survive because he's being played by Matt Damon. If he was played by somebody less charismatic and less likable, it probably wouldn't be the same case. Matt Damon's great. I liked him, and he's believable as a very intelligent botanist that is able to survive on his own for a year. Basically, this movie takes place over a span of a year, almost a year and a half, of him trying to survive, and like I said, it's fascinating. You got a bunch of different actors in this movie too. That the one like you got Jessica Chastain as the commander of the space mission that ends up deciding of cause she at first she does go looking for Matt Damon when he when shit goes down right before they're about to take off. She tries to find him and not leave him, but she is pretty much determined, like any normal person would, that he's probably dead, so she leaves him. And of course, she feels horrible once she finds out they did actually leave him on Mars. Jeff Daniels, I liked in this movie a lot. Jeff Daniels was basically a dick of a NASA director. I'm surprised he still had a job by the end of this movie. Because he did a lot of questionable things. I understood his reasoning on, like, towards the end where he was not wanting to risk all the crew members and having them go back to Mars and saving Matt Damon and risking all the crew's lives and not just one life. I can understand that, but then, like, there's a lot of other choices that are like, man, how the fuck do you still have a job? Honestly, towards the end, it kind of, like, hinted that maybe he did lose his job, but I'm not sure. It kind of did, like, make it out almost like he did, but I'm not entirely sure. You even got people like Chiwetel Ejiofor playing characters he's played before. You got Kristen Wiig, who's pulls in a pretty good performance. I'm not a big fan of hers, but she was good in this. She was in a serious role. She did have some, comedic lines here and there that were funny. This movie is not just dramatic; it is also has some pretty goddamn funny moments in it. Particularly all involving Matt Damon, like him having the fact that he had to use fertilizer, basically as he used the crew and his own human waste as fertilizer to grow the plants, and he even talks at the end about, well, I had to use to survive. I had to eat potatoes that were used or that were grown from my own shit. That's pretty funny. He said it's about as attractive as it sounds. But hey, desperate times ask for desperate measures. I could believe that he could grow, but it wasn't unbelievable that he was able to grow plants on Mars. Like how he did it was pretty cool, and it was pretty innovative. Like somebody like that would only come up with that. I love this movie. Some of the best, funniest moments of this movie is that when he's trying to entertain himself over the year that he's by himself, like by playing music, watching Happy Days. He literally is watching Happy Days. I was kind of and listening to the only music that's available on their station, and that's disco. This movie, in some ways, is like a love letter to disco. Which is kind of funny. At the end of the movie, had probably one of my favorite, one of the got the biggest laugh out of me was at the end of the credits. They started playing "I Will Survive." That made me laugh. There's a lot of good disco music in this movie. If you love disco, you'll love it. There's ABBA, all that kind of stuff, and he's like, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna survive this shit with all this music. It's like, this music's unbearable. He said, I might have to kill myself. That was pretty funny. He has a lot of funny moments in this movie where but he can also be very serious, and his acting is really well done. This movie does have one of my problems with Gravity was the fact that it got ridiculous in how much bad things happened to Sandra Bullock in that movie. It got to the point it was okay, I think space hates Sandra Bullock. That's the only explanation I had for that movie. It's everything that could go wrong went wrong. And in this movie, things do go wrong. They do go wrong. But it doesn't get fucking ridiculous like Gravity did. It didn't get almost comical. I swear in Gravity, when I saw that movie, I half expected when she landed on Earth, she was going to either get eaten by a bear or get ran over by a car or something. I don't know. I expected that's how the movie was going to end, but no, it didn't. Something crazy. I expected something crazy to happen. Or, when she landed on Earth, I expected that she would land on, it'd be a post-apocalyptic world or something. I don't know. I was expecting something crazy to happen. But this movie, it doesn't feel a little, or it doesn't feel too much like with like the bad shit that happens to him. It doesn't get a little too over the top with it. Um, and I was kind of glad about that. This movie does get like a little science mumbo jumbo throughout the whole thing. There's like, a lot of it just went right over my head, but at the same time I like wasn't confused as to what was going on or anything like that. It was kind of like when I saw Interstellar, and the fact I was like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, but I can still kind of I can understand what's going on. I could probably understand more what's going on in this movie than Interstellar. I like this movie better than Interstellar. I don't know what else would I want to talk about. I think there was something that I didn't like. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. That's how important that was. I can't even remember. Oh, there are parts of like this movie that come out of fucking nowhere. Like, apparently Kate Mara and Bucky Barnes from Captain America, who are like two of the crew members in this movie, are in love with each other. By the end of this movie, they have a kid together, and you're like, okay, I didn't know they were a fucking couple. All right, there you go. I guess they are. Cool. I was like, maybe that's explained in the book, but whatever. I'm also interested in what are some of the science in this movie was all pretty accurate. I've heard for the most part it is, but like towards the end where basically Matt Damon becomes Iron Man. That's the best way I can describe it. He even says it. And it's kind of getting the spoilers, but is that fucking is that possible? Like, I was sitting there like, is that possible? Like, and also blowing a hole in your space station, is that a good thing? I would think that would cause more problems than solve problems. I don't know. They just kind of gloss over that, I guess, but maybe that can happen, without. I don't know. There's some things I found myself questioning towards the end of this movie. I'm not a scientist. I couldn't tell you if that's accurate or not. Yeah, go see The Martian. Anyways, yeah, go see The Martian. It's a really good movie. It's gonna probably make my top 10 list of the next of the year. I guarantee it. As far as trailers, only got one new trailer. It's for a new horror movie coming out called The Forest. This is one of those, I'm not sure about it. One, it's coming out in January, which usually is a bad sign for any movie. It usually, if you don't know, that's the dumping ground for movies that nobody, like all studios know are gonna be shit, especially horror movies. That's usually been the dumping ground for bad horror movies, and The Forest is a movie, but the movie has a kind of interesting idea behind it. The story is, it's about this girl whose twin sister goes missing in what they call the suicide woods of Japan, and she goes into these woods why they call them the suicide woods is because people go there to commit suicide. Pretty simple there. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. And she goes in there and spooky shit starts happening. Of course, because it's a horror movie, but it kind of did look interesting. Like, I was like, that's kind of an interesting concept I've never seen done before. But then, like, at the end of the trailer, they were trying to, like, oh, Google it. Google the Suicide Forest. Find a real story. I'm like, there are going to be people that really think this actually did happen, but I think I've heard that there is a real forest. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm sure a lot of this is pretty fucking far-fetched, but whatever. It looks interesting. It could be an interesting movie, but I'm worried it's coming out in January, so usually nothing good comes out in January. And that comes out the same week as the wide releases of Hateful Eight and Revenant, so I don't know if I'll be seeing that or not. So that's as far as Martian goes and movie review or and trailers go. I'll be back in a couple days of a trailer or of a review for the Babadook. I'll be the Babadook will be starting my horror movie reviews for October. I'll be doing one each week. I'll be even doing ones for like Crimson Peak and Paranormal Activity. They marked or what is it? Paranormal Activity, Ghost Dimension. I'll be doing reviews for those, but also including I'll be doing some other reviews for films that are on demand and stuff like that I haven't seen yet. But I'll be back with a review for that, and then next week I'll be back with a review for The Walk and what's else coming out? Oh, Steve Jobs. And until then, I'll talk to you guys later.